YouTube and welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports bringing you another football video, and today's video is NFL MVP. Cast your vote in the comments. So I'm going over my top 5 MVP choices for this year and some honorable mentions that I think should be in the conversation but won't get MVP for various reasons. So make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, and let's get started. So first off, we have at number 5, I have Drew Brees. I put projected stats for every player I have on this list, and all of their pages are color-coded by their team's colors. So I think that Drew Brees is going to have an incredible season. I think that last season we saw a glimpse of what Drew Brees can do with the offense he has right now. And I think that this season is going to be the same as that, but over a 16-game course. He didn't play every game last season, and he still had incredible statistics. So I think that this season he's going to have even better ones. I project that he's going to throw 400 out of 550 for 73%, 4,600 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions for a quarterback rating of 112.2. I think that he's going to carry the ball 17 times for 29 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he's going to have a record of 13-3. I don't think that any of this is unrealistic. Of course, I'm not going to be 100% correct because I'm just predicting what Drew Brees is going to be doing this season, but I think that this is a very accurate representation of what he could do with the team he has this year. Next, we have Tom Brady, or Thomas Edmund Brady III. I project that he is going to have the same number of completions as Drew Brees with more attempts. I think that he's going to have he's going to throw 400 for 600, which is a percentage of 66.6, for 4,800 yards, 34 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 107.1. Brady throughout his career has thrown less interceptions per season as Drew Brees, but I think that he's going to have more touchdowns this year. I think that he's going to have more yards this year on his more attempts, but he's going to have more yards per completion because of the specific receivers he has, like Mike Evans and Gronk and Chris Godwin. I think that he's going to carry the ball 25 times over the course of the season for 35 yards and 3 touchdowns with a record of 11-5. I think that Brady's record is going to be lower than Brees in the same division, so I think that Brees is going to get the spot for the higher seed, but I still think that Brady will end up with a better chance at getting the MVP, although I don't think either of them will get the MVP. Next, we have Christian McCaffrey. My stat predictions for Christian McCaffrey is that he will have 260 carries with a 5.1 yard per carry average and 1,326 total yards. I believe that he'll have 11 touchdowns on the ground. He'll also have 130 targets for 108 receptions receiving, 875 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So I know that Christian McCaffrey was all-world last year, and I think that he's going to continue that trend this year. I had him regress a little bit just because everyone regresses towards the mean after having a prolific season, but I don't think that he can have the same consistent stats every single year, just like I don't think Patrick Mahomes can have the same consistent stats every year. I wasn't sure exactly how far lower I was supposed to put McCaffrey than what he did last year, so I think I did my best. I think that I did overestimate him a little bit though. So I'm just saying right now, I think that Christian McCaffrey will not do as good as I put his stat predictions to be. I don't think that. I put that there because I can't discredit him for what he did last year, and I want to make sure to predict what I think is completely possible instead of what I think is 100% accurate. At number 2, I have Patrick Mahomes, and I know a lot of people clicked on this video because of the title thinking, wait, you don't think Patrick Mahomes was going to get the MVP? And I don't think he will. I think that he'll throw 376 of 570 for 66%. He'll have 4,890 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. I think he'll have an incredible season, but I don't think that he'll win the MVP. I think he'll have a quarterback rating of 108.7 with some pretty decent rushing stats. at 58 carries for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. I believe that Patrick Mahomes will have an incredible season because he's proven that he will continue to have these great seasons that he had the last couple of years, especially through his playoff run last year. And I think that it would be unreasonable to say that he would have any less than 35 touchdowns. But I think that you can't expect anyone to have over 40. So I think that 37 is a very good number for him for a projection. I think that 8 interceptions is also a good projection because although it's more picks than Brady or Brees are projected to throw, I do think that he will throw more picks than Brady and Brees because he doesn't have the same experience as they do. Brady and Brees know exactly when to throw the ball. I think that Patrick Mahomes is still young, and he can still be a prolific passer and better a quarterback overall, but I think that Brees and Brady are better at timing and finding the right time and making sure they don't make those mistakes. So I don't think that Patrick Mahomes, I think he'll have a better season than Brady and Brees, but I don't think that he'll throw less picks. And now we go on to my honorable mentions. So my honorable mentions include Michael Thomas, Stephon Gilmore, Aaron Donald, Lamar Jackson, and Ben Roethlisberger. So yeah, most of the players that I have here were in the top 10 of the NFL 100, because they likely will be the 10 of the best players in the league. But Ben Roethlisberger was not. Brady and Brees also weren't. They were out on the outside looking in, but they were both in the top 15. Ben Roethlisberger was not in the NFL 100 because he was injured last season, and I think that this season he will win NFL Comeback Player of the Year. I think that this year he's going to have 430. He's going to throw 430 of 640 for 67%, over 5,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 13 picks for a quarterback rating of 97.5. Ben Roethlisberger historically has thrown more picks than Brady and Brees, and I don't think that he'll come back and throw 30 touchdowns because he historically has not thrown 30 touchdowns most seasons. He has, however, thrown for a lot of yards. So I think that he'll throw the ball a lot of times, get a bunch of yards. I think James Conner will get a lot of touchdowns off of those yards, and I think that Ben will end up with 29 touchdowns. He also will have 30 carries throughout the season for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. More yards than Brady and Brees, but less touchdowns is my prediction. Other players on the list I have are Lamar Jackson, who will not win the MVP this season. I know that he won it last season, and everyone thinks that he's the best quarterback in the league. I do not. I think he will not win the MVP this year for a couple of reasons, one of them being he won't get 3,000 passing yards. Yep, I think that he's going to throw the ball a mere 380 times, complete even lower, 240 of those for a measly 63%, which isn't bad. I just think that it's going to be lower than MVP caliber. I think that he'll have 2,960 yards, just shy of 3,000, as well as 32 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. I think he'll have a small number of interceptions and less touchdowns than last year. But I think that he'll run the ball 150 times for 1,050 yards and 8 touchdowns. So I do think that his rushing will stay consistent with last year. I think that his rushing will be incredible. And I think that his passing will be above average. But I think that together, they won't make an MVP season. I know that I do have 40 touchdowns on there, which I do think is a little bit high of a projection. I don't think he'll have 40 touchdowns. I think that it'll be closer to 30 and 6 or something along those lines. He had 42 last year. I don't think that he'll have 40 again. But I have 40 on there because I want to keep it consistent with last year's statistics, but adjust people accordingly to how I think that they're going to change. So most of my changes that I'm making are slightly smaller than what I expect them to be. So Christian McCaffrey, I have him doing slightly worse. I think he'll do a little bit more than slightly worse, but in the same type of proportions that I have. Lamar Jackson the same way. Tom Brady, I think he'll do a little bit better than usual, I think that I might have overestimated him a little bit, but I don't really know because he has all these incredible weapons. I could have underestimated Tom Brady. So I really don't know. I don't have all the answers. These are just how I feel the players are going to be doing this year. I think Aaron Donald will have 3 passes defended, 4 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 17 sacks, 65 total tackles, and 22 tackles for a loss. I think that he's going to want his Defensive Player of the Year award back, and he'll come back with a vengeance. His opponent, Stephon Gilmore, I believe will continue to stay on top of the cornerbacks, with 6 interceptions for 160 yards and a touchdown, 24 passes defended, 2 forced fumbles, 1 recovery, 50 tackles, and 2 tackles for a loss. I think that he's going to improve on his statistics from last season by adding on 4 more passes defended. He'll have 1 less touchdown, but I think he'll have more interception return yards. And I think that his season will be generally the same. He might have less interceptions, but I think that his season will generally be about the same because he did have 20 passes defended for 2 seasons straight. So it'll be exciting to watch him this year and see how he does. And last but not least, I have Michael Thomas in my 6th position in total. I think that I would put him in my top 5, but a wide receiver has never won NFL MVP, and I don't think ever will. I think that he'll have 150 targets for 130 receptions, a little less than last year, for 1,485 yards and 14 touchdowns. Michael Thomas statistically has never gotten more than 10 touchdowns in a season. He's gotten 9, 6, 9, and 9, or 9, 5, 9, and 9, something along those lines. And with 3 seasons at 9 touchdowns, I think that this season coming up, he will have less yards than last year, but he'll finally break that 10 touchdown mark and get 14. I know that that's a big jump from 9 to 14, but I think that he'll do it. He'll have an incredible season, and he will be in the conversation for MVP, having 1,500 yards and 14 touchdowns, but he won't have the same stats as he did last year for yards-wise, and I think that you need the yards and the touchdowns in order to get MVP as a wide receiver. But we haven't yet seen anybody get 2,000 yards and 18 touchdowns in the same season. We've seen 18 touchdowns. We've seen 1,900 yards. We've never seen them together. Randy Moss was the best we've ever gotten and closest we've ever gotten to an MVP wide receiver, but we still have never seen one, and I don't think that Michael Thomas will break that streak. Last but not least, we have my MVP selection, Russell Wilson. I am going all in on the Seahawks this year. I think that the Seahawks are going to be the best team in the NFL. I think that they're going to destroy everyone. And I think that Russell Wilson will be the first quarterback in the 21st century to win MVP and the Super Bowl in the same season. Nobody has done so since 1999 when Kurt Warner did it, and I think that Russell Wilson will be the first in the 21st century. I think that he'll go 355 for 251 for 68% and 4,225 yards. He'll have 36 touchdowns and 8 picks for a quarterback rating of 109.3. I was going to have him have less interceptions, but he's never had a passer rating above 110 in a single season, so I didn't think I would give him one. I figured I would give him 109, because he has had 110 on multiple occasions. He's never had over that, though. So I gave him a couple more picks so that his pass rating would go down a little bit. I think that his percentage will be very high next year. I think that he will pass very well, and his statistics will show it. I think he'll also have 85 carries for 510 yards and 5 touchdowns. So his stats are very similar to Brady and Brees, to Mahomes as far as yards and touchdowns. He'll have about 100 less yards than Mahomes, but he'll have more total touchdowns at 41. I think Mahomes will have 39. I think that they'll have similar numbers of picks, but the thing that'll separate them, but besides Wilson having 2 extra touchdowns, he'll also be 14-2, and Mahomes will be 13-3. So they'll have very similar statistics, and it'll come down to the wire. A lot of people think that Mahomes should get it. A lot of people think that Wilson should get it. But I think that in the end, Wilson will get his very first MVP because it is well deserved, and he has deserved it for a very long time. and it's too bad that he hasn't won one yet. So I hope that this season he really does win one, because he has deserved it for the past 8 years. For watching my video. Please comment below who you think will win the NFL MVP and what you thought of my snap predictions. I do post new videos every day, so make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those notifications if you want to see my videos, and I hope you really do enjoy them because I put a lot of time and effort into them. Make sure to like the video because it really does help me get more into the algorithm and get me more into people's recommended tabs and stuff, because it does help grow the channel. So thank you for hitting that like button, because I know that you all did it. Below there will be 2 videos. One of them will be a playlist where I predict every single game of the NFL season, and the other one will be a video that is best for the viewer, so something that YouTube recommends to you. So thanks for watching my video again. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Peace.